and why you're so generous with your time in helping put together the CCA and what it represents for Dan and for everybody that's part of it.
Okay, appreciate that. Let me talk to you about two tyrants, absolute tyrants that I've come to know over the years. And one's called scrutiny, and the next one is expectations. And these things do not let you go when you're on the ascent as a leader or when you are leading a group of people, that everything you do comes under a microscope. That if there's a little tiny disconnect in what you say and what you do, they drive a wedge through it so that you can get a Mack truck through it. And so when you talk about scrutiny, you say, gosh, I can't say anything. I can't do anything. Somebody either acts on it or they call me on it, or I just don't have that luxury of just being, quote, one of the guys or one of the fellows or something like that. And once you realize that everything you do is under the microscope, then you stop being as cavalier with your words. Doesn't mean that you are so overly cautious that you're not yourself. Now, you still talk your stuff. You still go out and make sure that you get your point across your way. But what you're not doing, okay, is giving people false signals about who you are and what you're about. You're in that so that when they put you under that inevitable microscope, okay, that you come back consistent. Doesn't mean you're always going to make the best choices or that you never make a mistake, but you're consistent in approach to how you do things, and that ends up handling that scrutiny tyrant. Now, the second one is expectations. Expectations follow you everywhere you go in everything you do. And I tend to deal with very high achievers. And these achievers either got such good grades in school, and high school, and college, that if they get anything lower than an A or anything less than a 100%, then they think that they failed. I tell a story all the time. My second daughter, Coco, that's in the PhD program at Stanford, she went there for undergrad. In fact, that was the only school she applied to, which was weird. She said, I'm going to apply for early admit. And if I don't get in, then I'll think about applying to other places. But she got in. But anyway, I remember she went to the mailbox across the street from our house, looked in the mailbox, got an envelope out somehow, and started. Immediately, I started hearing her wail. She's letting out this loud scream. She's coming into the house crying and just kind of thought, what happened between here and the mailbox that would get you this worked up? And she looks at this paper she's holding in her hand, and she goes, I got an A minus. And she was crying, getting an A minus. I thought, man, I would have loved to get an A minus in something like chemistry or whatever it was. And I was in the half of the class that made the top half possible. So, but her expectation until then was to have straight A's, okay, and no A minuses. And that level of expectation was hamstringing her even when she got to college, and she had a crisis, and she called me, and it was like a paper or something that was due, or she couldn't turn it in right or something like that. And my advice to her was, stop worrying about getting good grades. Your true education is going to come outside of the classroom. And of course, I didn't know she'd take me to heart the way she did. It's like, okay, I'll stop thinking about that altogether. But did it hurt her? No, she's back at Stanford with a PhD. See, so the point of it is, you have expectations yourself, and other people have expectations of you. And when you fall short, now you think there's something wrong with you. And yet trial and error is the way to growth. And you have to have expectations, yes. But if you don't meet your expectations this time, then just turn around, regroup, go at it again. the formula, and Dr. Jeff talked about this, and this is real important. Okay, you engage whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, then you reflect on doing what you just did in that engagement, and then you engage again better. And sometimes we think that everything that we do, we only have one bite at the apple, and that life is so unforgiving that we end up chastising ourselves. It's like, hey, man, what's wrong with me? And it's nothing wrong with you. It's something's wrong with everybody having expectations of you, and that you taking their expectations and trying to live them out versus you being the standard. You set the standard. You are the calibration standard, and then you're going to push that further. So that's those tyrants. They stay on you all the time, and you're expected to win. And yet, the way you're going to deal with them is that you're going to train at a high enough level to where meeting the expectations or dealing with the scrutiny is a byproduct of what you do versus the driver for what you do.
That's way better than what I shared around scrutiny expectation. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I've had a little practice on both sides of that. And I continually put myself in situations where I have to grow, where I have to deal with the scrutiny and expectation. Otherwise, I would shrink back and not do it. And yet, that's the way that I get the drive or the impetus or the catalyst to go forward with the things that I'm able to do. Now, let me talk a little bit about CCA.
Yeah, please.
There are things in life that you get in to check it out, and it ends up checking you out. You get in to see what this is about and whether it's worthy of your time, and you find out that it's one of the most worthy things you've ever done. And that's the way I see in CCA. And there's like 3 components that I want to share that were so powerful. The first one is that we develop the intellectual horsepower of the participants. Okay, we're constantly reading, we're constantly sharpening each other, constantly putting big questions out there to explore so that you raise the level of your game. If I'm out during the week dealing with people who are at the 1/2 of 1 percentile in vocabulary or education or their financial status, and I'm learning from these people as I'm interacting, I think I can bring that in. I can bring that in to CCA on a Thursday, and for an hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour, share what I've learned and challenge other people to have what we call case in point, okay, which is the second thing that we do. And that case in point is to take something that you've learned the week before or earlier in the program and apply it directly to your life. And it is amazing to see people get a principle. Say we talk about characterize the process before you fix it, add structure only when necessary, and get the ball in your court. And they come back and they say, I had a situation at work where I did those 3 things and it worked perfectly. And there's nothing from a coach's standpoint, from a professor standpoint, there's nothing like it when the lights come on and it actually works. I mean, I've seen this in basketball practice where you work on a press break or something and another team presses you with their press and you break it just perfectly. It will bring tears to your eyes that the thing that you practiced actually worked. And so that's one that it was so important in this piece. And then the third piece is the technical training you get on the certainty process, certainty application, and how to go about applying that. And these principles, what you find is these principles are not monolithic. They go across the board to just about every endeavor that you involve yourself with. But the final thing, okay, is at the end, and I can't tell people what they're supposed to get out of CCA. It meets you at your point of need, and you'll get out what you need to. We make that guarantee. But Dan asked if anyone wanted to say anything to me personally, and to see people with tears. Thank you for something that you didn't even know that was going to be worth it in the beginning. It sticks with you. You can see it all the time. You carry that with you when you're having that day that nothing's going right. And you've got problems and all kinds. Just thinking back that this cohort of people stayed in there. They hung in there. They did the reading. They had the experiences. They had issues in their family and in their relationships and in their businesses. And they fought through that and stayed with it week after week, got what they needed, and continued to move on. And I said this, and I continue to say it because it continues to happen. I've never seen a person prepare and continue to prepare that didn't get a shot to use this in a very successful way. Never seen it. Okay. I've seen people give up in other endeavors and not stay with it. I've seen people get a shot, but they didn't prepare themselves and not make it. Okay. I've never seen one that did the preparation and didn't get a shot to use the stuff. So anyway, that's about all I got.
I appreciate that, and I'll tell you, I'll just echo or kind of piggyback off. I've done a lot of coaching programs. I've been in a lot of them. I've been in a lot of different kind of programs. The practical application of the CCA is off the charts. It's the only thing that I've been a part of where every single week you're going, oh, you get it, and you applied it, and now you behave differently in a way that's going to get you closer to what you want. Where we got a lot of programs, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of one-liners, a lot of people saying the same stuff and then acting totally ridiculous over here. It's just the ultimate. It just aligns all of these things. Most importantly, in my opinion, is the behavior. We saw it over time. Like these are different people.
Absolutely. I there's a lot of executive education out there, and sometimes people will say, well, yeah, Randy, I like what you're talking about, but this program over here that I'm part of with some other CEOs and stuff like that. Now, I teach in a lot of those. Okay, I've taught in a lot of those in the executive leadership programs that are 60 to 80 to sometimes over $100,000 a year. Okay, these different places, and I say go to those. Okay, they will give you the right books to read, and you'll get some articles. I'm going to give you the same books, the same articles. Okay, but I'm also going to give you a way to use it. And if you can digest this and metabolize it, make it part of yours. Don't leave it to me. Don't say it's mine. It's yours once I've taught it to you. That's the difference. I'm not trying to make you into Peter Drucker or some other kind of guru or something out there. You're going to use this and you're going to use it as yours and then come back and see how it worked. So I appreciate the opportunity, Nick, to jump on here anytime to talk to one of your audiences. I just live for the opportunity to interact with Jeff Spencer and what he has to teach. And I just hope that I get a chance to meet some of these people at some point.
We got a handful of CCA people already got their deposits in. So looking forward to that. And Randy, thank you so much. I want to respect your time.
Okay.
We'll
appreciate you
when we chat. Yeah, likewise.
Okay.
All